Was Abraham Lincoln a president?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was just a whatever publical figure.
Welcome back to Delulu Diaries, where the timelines don't match, but the receipts always do. Today we're going to be hearing from somebody that we haven't heard from in over a year, but is probably going to lead to Amberlynn's downfall. In order to get the tea, I'm going to clip a little bit of Zachary Michael's video, so let's go ahead and get right into that.
The day that I posted my video about Amberlynn's co-host threatening me or making vague threats to my life or hoping that somebody would physically harm me in real life, I got a DM from somebody who had actually reached out to me a little over a year ago at this point. I had made mention to talking to, at the time, NBC News journalist. I don't believe she is associated with NBC News anymore, but at the time, a journalist had reached out to me to talk about this weird niche community we have going on over here in Gorlworld in terms of like the relationship between people like Amberlynn and the channels like me that cover her.
All right, I love Zachary Michael, but he is like really beating around the bush. So I wanted you to hear from his words, who had reached out to him and what their relevance was previously. But just to give you guys the rest of the tea really quickly, so I'm not wasting your time, he basically goes on to say that because of this journalist looking into Amber's backlog of videos, and she did talk to Amberlynn as well, she discovered that Amberlynn has a lot of mukbangs that seemingly go against YouTube's terms of service in regards to what you're allowed to show yourself eating. And so she had reached out directly to YouTube to ask about some of those videos and how that video went into their terms of service to get some more clarity for her article. And that is when Amberlynn started removing videos such as the chicken mukbang and videos where she was eating just like an excessive amount of food. So clearly the journalist asking YouTube questions had some pull over what Amberlynn was allowed to post on her channel.
So yeah, I posted that video about Thick Gemini and what Thick Gemini said about me on Lil Cow Hero, and she reached out to me and was like, hey, not doing this because you asked me to do this, but doing this because I'm genuinely curious about this and want to know, but I'm reaching out to YouTube to ask about why Thick Gemini was allowed to say that on their channel and why it's still up and why it's allowed. And again, of course, that video did get removed for violating YouTube's terms of service. It's no longer there. You can no longer watch it.
Finally, somebody is doing something about the LCU. This makes me so happy to hear. It's not that I'm like vindictive and want to see them downfall. I genuinely don't care about who is succeeding on YouTube or not, but I do think we should all be playing by the same rules. And it's not even that I want to play by the rules that the LCU is playing by, but if you've noticed, they're able to make baseless accusations all the time, which is very damaging to people's reputations. They are allowed to make threats whenever they want to. Sometimes they'll add like in Minecraft to get through a little loophole or whatever, but it's very nice to see that YouTube is finally taking some notice, because there are reasons that those things are not allowed. And to see the LCU get away with so much, and then you have other channels like Swoop, who's trying to cover things that are very serious but has to use unserious words to get around censorship, or Stephanie Harlow, who covers true crime and can't talk about like the actual severity and bring certain cases the respect that they need because of the words she has to use. It's very frustrating because in some ways YouTube is very restrictive, and in other ways they just let completely anything pass through. And it's good to see that they're finally taking some notice and trying to do a little bit of course correction, at least on this network. Just really quickly before we hop back in, I want to say if you have been enjoying the video so far, please leave me a like and subscribe. It really means so much, but let's get right back into the video.
YouTube's terms of service, it's no longer there. You can no longer watch it. So again, I don't know if that's a result of my report, because I did report the video myself, if that's a result of y'all watching the video and reporting it, or if that's a result of this journalist reaching out to them, but this journalist did reach out to YouTube and speak with somebody about the content of that live stream. Now, what is interesting, and the part where I was intentionally doing some digging with the help of this journalist, is this journalist was like, what is going on with this LCU stuff? Like, tell me more about it. I said, girl, it's really wild to me. I don't understand it. I don't understand why Amberlynn's allowed to be over there making money. I don't understand why so many of these LCU shows are like borderline breaking terms of service. It doesn't make sense to me. How many times that they've done like racist, bigoted things on these channels. Just like none of it makes sense. So if you want to ask your YouTube spokesperson some more questions, I would love to hear what the response is. And so this is after a couple weeks of this person, this journalist, poking around, but there have been some follow-up from YouTube that does impact the LCU.
I totally forgot about the racist stuff because generally I stick to just watching Hero, and usually that is not a main topic on there, but that is true that other channels like openly use slurs about race, about mental ability, like all kinds of like disgusting hate speech, and they just are able to get away with it. And I do want to say a quick note for people who don't know this about YouTube, but every time that you upload a video, it gets scrubbed through by like an automated process, but you don't necessarily get human eyes and ears on every video. Like that would just be impossible. And so it's not that I think that YouTube was purposefully letting this stuff slide. I think it's just something that with so many creators uploading to the channels, it's very difficult to fully get a picture of everything. That's why the report button exists, so that you guys can help YouTube out by being like, hey, you need to check out this video and see what's going on. So I don't know fully how that stuff works, but I do know that it's just like, now that they have eyes on it, they're able to monitor it and be like, oh, let's see what's going on. And now that they've looked into a couple of LCU channels, it's a big problem. And this is 2 days before Keemstar goes on his vacation. So he is going to be sweating. And if you guys don't know, because you don't keep up with the LCU, this is his wedding and honeymoon. So it's not like you can just cancel it or move it back or anything. Like, this is a very big deal. There's still going to be Mike to take care of it, but I know Keem is not happy with the timing of this, and I'm wondering if he's going to hold part of it against Amberlynn.
So first things first, as of right now, Amberlynn officially has not reapplied for monetization on her channel. She still is suspended from the YouTube Partner Program. And because of that, YouTube actually does have some problems with Amberlynn appearing on the lolcow universe. An official statement, or according to YouTube, when a creator in the YouTube Partner Program is found to violate our monetization policies, we may suspend their monetization. This may apply to all of a creator's existing channels, any new channels they create, and channels that they appear on regularly. Accordingly, we've suspended lolcow Hero and lolcow Chubby from the YouTube Partner Program, given they are hosted/co-hosted by creators Amberlynn Reid and Angie Uploaded, who are actively suspended from the YouTube Partner Program.
Really quickly, for those of you who don't know, back in the day, Keemstar got demonetized on his own channel, and after that, he was able to join up onto another channel's show and earn money through them because it was not technically his own channel. And that's kind of what he bases the entire LCU around. So this policy change is kind of a big deal for him. I don't know when this policy change took effect. I'm guessing it's not very new, otherwise we would have heard something about it. But I'm wondering if Keemstar just either didn't look into it, didn't know, or wasn't getting caught. And that's why he continued using this kind of framework, because otherwise, when Amberlynn was able to apply for remonetization back in February, I feel like he would have pressed her on that. But regardless, I feel like this is going to mess with his ability to run the show how he has been running it, and he's going to have to be a lot more careful about recruiting people who have been demonetized in the future.
And so I do just want to verify that if you go to lolcow Hero and you go to lolcow Chubby, neither of them have the join button for like joining memberships, which is a thing that is on all of the lolcow channels. And just for comparison, if you go to the lolcow Bus channel, you will see that there's a join button there. Now, I did have some follow-up questions, and I'm not sure if the journalist that I'm in touch with will get further comment or not from their YouTube spokesperson. But I did have further questions because to me it doesn't seem like YouTube did a super thorough search on all of this, considering that the main show that Amberlynn hosted for so long was Lil Cow Bus, and Lil Cow Bus is somehow still monetized.
My suspicion is that since Bus is a much larger show that earns more, YouTube is probably taking a little bit more care with how they respond to that channel, but I have no idea how the back end on that works. What I do know is that as of this morning, Hero still does not have a join button, Bus still does have a join button, and that Hero has scrubbed all of the live streams that Amberlynn appeared in. So it seems like somebody, whether it be Keem or Mike, is trying to salvage the situation. And if you're curious, if you already had a membership to one of these shows, it has been put on pause. And I'm going to put a little email that somebody sent me up on the screen so you can see what that email looks like. But it basically just says, hey, your membership has been paused and you won't be charged again until it's resumed. So at least for the paying members, they are not paying for nothing at this time. It is just put on pause until that ability is restored to these channels.
What I think is more reasonable is that they just did a real quick perusal of every single Lil Cow channel that exists on YouTube and looked at like maybe the most recent videos to see if there were people on those platforms who were previously suspended from the YouTube Partner Program. Okay, I just paused because I had a new message from the journalist, so I wanted to go and check it out. And she did tell me that she is, in fact, following up just to be like, hey, those are not the only places that Amberlynn appeared in the LCU, and is letting her YouTube spokesperson know that there's more than that. And it's also always a possibility that Amberlynn might want to try to rejoin the LCU, show up in places on the LCU, things like that.
Zach's point makes a lot of sense. Amber hasn't been on Bus for the last couple of streams, so perhaps that's the reason why Bus is still safe and Hero and Chubby are not. That being said, the journalist is going to take care of it, so you guys don't have to worry about going there and reporting or anything. I'm certainly not sending you out into the world to spread hate or to report or do anything like that. We're just here to do a little girl chat. But I do want to say that my overall opinions on the situation is that, as I said before, I'm glad the LCU is finally having to take some accountability for the stuff that they've been doing, although I'm sure that the level of accountability that they have to take is probably not going to be to the standard that I would like to see. In terms of Amberlynn, I am really curious to see what's going to happen because she is in a very tight space right now. Your whole channel can be terminated for ban evading, which is why Amber made that snarky little comment about Salty Crab never being able to return because she would be ban evading. And so I'm very curious to see what happens with that. And also, this is just karma at Amber. That's why even when I talk about Amber, I try to be very neutral or benefit of the doubt because I do believe in karma. And as you can see, Amber was talking smack on Salty Crab, being like, haha, you can't come back because of ban evading. And now here she is in a very similar situation, which I just think is very satisfying in a way because I don't like the way she was talking about Salty. But regardless, I don't think she's going to be able to go back to the LCU either. Even if she gets remonetized, I think Keem is the kind of person who is going to be really bothered by the fact that she put him in jeopardy to begin with, you know? Yes, the responsibility falls on Keem as well. He should have been aware of the policy and adjusted his business plan accordingly. However, Amber was getting under his skin. I don't think he particularly enjoyed working with her. She did bring in a lot of money, which kind of balanced that out. But now knowing that 2 days before he goes on his trip to get married and then have his honeymoon, that this shit is hitting the fan, I don't think he's going to want to have her on the shows anymore. Obviously, I could be wrong. That's just my personal opinion. So as of right now, it kind of hangs in the balance. Will Amberlynn be able to keep her channel knowing that she tried to ban evade a little bit? Will she be remonetized and just have to stay over there because the LCU won't take her back? Will the LCU take her back regardless because Keem's just willing to give everybody a millionth try? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And if you made it this far, as always, stay Delulu, but not that Delulu. See you in the next one.